A fundamental and momentous change is taking place on Australia's doorstep. The balance of political clout, economic prosperity and cultural influence is tilting towards our northern neighbours in Asia. Just as Europe once conquered foreign lands and America mastered industry, Asia is now increasingly shaping the course of world affairs. However, the sheer size of the region's population and capacity makes the scale of this change unprecedented in human history. Asia will hold an extra 400 million people by the end of the decade and another 570 million by 2050. Now, one study suggests that in terms of gross domestic product, the world's economic centre of gravity has been drifting towards the heart of China for the past 30 years, and that this trajectory is set to continue into the middle of the century. Within 15 years, it's expected that Asia will have nearly half the world's 50 most productive cities. Among those falling off the list will be Melbourne, Nagoya, Athens, Barcelona and Detroit. They'll be outshone by bustling super cities like Bangkok, Beijing, Guangzhou, Delhi, Mumbai and Doha. They'll swallow a greater share of the world's energy and commodities to fuel their booms. Now, nearby is another considerable economic force, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. That includes Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia and Vietnam. ASEAN's 600 million people have a combined GDP of $1.8 trillion. That's nearly 1.5 times the combined output of Australia and New Zealand. Japan, weakened by disaster and stagnation, maintains a place near the top of the Asian table. It sits gingerly near the Chinese, who still harbour deep post-war resentments against Japan. Suspicion isn't localised. India is also watching China's strategic manoeuvres at sea, especially at choke points and crucial shipping lanes. Chinese interests are investing heavily in commercial ports in Burma, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and Pakistan. With naval undertones, India is responding through deals in the Middle East and in the Indian Ocean in places as distant as South Africa. The promises of the so-called Asian century are also tempered by the familiar threats of economic breakdown and natural disaster. Warmer, more extreme weather means crop yields in Asia are expected to fall by another 10% by 2020. By 2050, the Asian Development Bank says an extra 132 million people will be at risk of hunger. And melting glaciers and salinity will make fresh water more scarce, affecting more than 1 billion people. For better or worse, Asia's rise is happening quickly and pearls of opportunity lie in murky waters.